Hello, and a very warm, heartfelt welcome to our channel. I am genuinely thrilled and extremely happy that you have joined us today to dive deeply into a story that is truly fascinating, filled with extraordinary mysteries, incredible archaeological discoveries, and profound lessons about faith, spirituality, and the human connection to the divine. Today, we are going to explore a topic that has captivated scholars, historians, and curious minds from all over the world for many decades: the Dead Sea Scrolls. Before we begin this remarkable journey, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any of our unique and extraordinary content about history, archaeology, and spirituality. The fascinating discovery of the Dead Sea manuscripts. Have you ever heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls? Perhaps you have come across this name in a documentary, a history program, or a detailed biblical study. But do you truly know who wrote these scrolls, what exactly they contain, and why they are considered so valuable, both historically and spiritually? These ancient texts offer an incredible window into the distant past, revealing not only significant archaeological and historical information, but also profound theological insights and perspectives. Through them, we can learn a great deal about God, about creation, and about the spiritual, social, and cultural challenges faced by the Jewish people more than 2,000 years ago. These scrolls were discovered between 1947 and 1956, during a period that completely transformed the study of the scriptures, Jewish history, and our understanding of ancient traditions. But how did this discovery actually begin? The story of the first discovery is as fascinating and compelling as the texts themselves. A young Bedouin shepherd was walking through the rugged mountains of the Judean desert, near the Dead Sea, tending carefully to his flock of sheep. Suddenly, one of his sheep wandered off and entered a nearby cave. In an attempt to retrieve the animal, he threw a stone into the cave and heard an unusual sound echoing back from inside. Driven by curiosity and a sense of adventure, he entered the cave and stumbled upon ancient jars containing scrolls, astonishingly well preserved despite their extreme age. The secret to the preservation of these scrolls lies in the extremely dry, arid, and almost humidity-free climate of the desert. This remarkable environmental condition allowed the texts to remain nearly intact for thousands of years, marking the beginning of an extraordinary journey of archaeological, historical, and scholarly significance. Over time, other Bedouins realized the immense value of these scrolls and began trading them, although the first discoverer did not even fully comprehend the importance of what he had found. Some scrolls were even burned as fuel for fires. Following this initial discovery, further exploration revealed additional caves, eventually identifying a total of 11 caves, where thousands of scrolls were ultimately found and carefully preserved. Types of scrolls and materials. The scrolls discovered were not all identical. Some were written on leather, like the traditional Torah scrolls, crafted from the skins of animals considered ritually pure, as described in the Bible. Others were written on papyrus, a material commonly used in ancient Egypt, demonstrating the diversity of writing materials in antiquity. But what exactly did these texts contain? The answer is truly astonishing. Virtually all the books of the Bible, with the exception of one, are represented among these ancient copies. Texts such as Genesis, Psalms, Isaiah, and many others were reproduced multiple times, effectively creating a library-like archive that preserved the faith, teachings, and traditions of the Jewish people in an organized manner. These scrolls were written from centuries before the Common Era to the beginning of the Common Era, approximately 2,000 years ago. This period corresponds to a particularly critical moment in Israel's history, just before the destruction of the Second Temple by the Romans, a time marked by intense social, political, and spiritual upheaval, historical and cultural context. During this time, there was a clear division within the Jewish community. While many people remained faithful to the Torah, others began creating their own laws, reinterpreting sacred texts, and even practicing forms of idolatry. In response, certain sects, such as the Essenes, withdrew from Jerusalem and sought refuge in the Judean desert. In this isolated and extremely harsh environment, with scorching heat by day, freezing temperatures by night, and minimal access to water, these groups meticulously preserved and copied ancient texts, often adding their own interpretations, commentaries, and ideological perspectives. The Essenes were known for their rigorous spiritual practices, including extended fasts and strict restrictions on interaction with women, which explains why very few female skeletons have been discovered at these sites. Despite the difficult living conditions, They dedicated themselves to the careful preservation and expansion of sacred knowledge, writing and copying scrolls with exceptional diligence and precision. Another significant sect of the time was the disciples of Zadok, also known as the Sadducees. They developed their own interpretation of the law, reforming biblical texts and creating new writings that reinforced their own priestly authority. Genealogies, stories of prophets, and historical accounts were rewritten, and certain laws regarding purity and impurity were altered, according to their ideological perspectives and spiritual practices. The content of the manuscripts within the scrolls, scholars have identified several categories of texts. Classic biblical books, such as Genesis, Psalms, Deuteronomy, and Isaiah, often with multiple hand-copied versions. This is particularly impressive given the difficulty of producing these scrolls in such a desert environment. For instance, 36 copies of the Book of Psalms and 26 copies of Deuteronomy were discovered. Apocryphal and mystical writings, such as the Book of Enoch, with 25 copies found, demonstrating the spiritual relevance of teachings not included in the official biblical canon. Bronze scrolls, which describe hidden treasures, reflecting a unique interest in recording information about wealth, secret locations, and complex instructions or guidance. The Essenes also paid special attention to the accurate transmission of God's sacred name. Some scrolls had intentional gaps where the Tetragrammaton appeared, as a means of preserving reverence and controlling how divine interpretation could be made. Another fascinating aspect is the simplification of language in certain texts, allowing ordinary people to read and understand the biblical messages according to each sect's interpretation, ensuring that spiritual teachings could be more widely accessed. The importance of the scrolls today. Today, many of these manuscripts can be studied at the Israel Museum in Jerusalem and are also available digitally on multiple online platforms. Studying these texts reveals not only historical and archaeological richness, but also provides a spiritual snapshot of the period crises, differing interpretations of the law, social tensions, and attempts to maintain faith under very challenging conditions. These scrolls offer a unique perspective on how the Bible was preserved, transmitted, and in some cases, reinterpreted. They allow us to see the dedication of groups who risked their lives to safeguard tradition, alongside others who sought to manipulate sacred writings to consolidate power or promote ideology. Ultimately, the Dead Sea Scrolls show us that the history of faith in humanity is incredibly complex, full of challenges, conflicts, and twists, but also exceptionally rich and deeply fascinating. They help us understand the biblical context, the spiritual and social challenges faced by the Jewish people, and the profound importance of preserving God's word across centuries. And so we reach the end of this in-depth exploration of the Dead Sea Scrolls. I sincerely hope this video has provided you with clarity, fascination, and inspiration regarding these millennial texts. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share it with friends and family who are also interested in history, archaeology, and spirituality. Your support allows us to continue creating incredible, high-quality content like this. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end. We look forward to seeing you in the next video, where we will continue exploring the mysteries of the Bible, history, and faith. May the light of knowledge, understanding, and wisdom continue to illuminate your path. See you in the next video.